Notre Dame has knocked off Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, and Marcus Freeman has outfoxed, outcoached Kirby Smart. Got to talk about how this happened and some wild shenanigans that led to Notre Dame punching its ticket to the college football playoff semifinal. They will face Penn State for the right to play for the national championship. What's up, kidfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, like the video, and leave us a comment below. Did you think that Notre Dame was going to pull this out like they did? And if this is your 1,000th time watching the #1 college football show and you have not subscribed, I'm going to ask you to do that. We went over 127,000 subscribers, and frankly, we're at the part of the year that I have been so excited about because the college football playoff system has been very much at issue, and it felt for many going into this that Georgia had one of the easiest routes to the national championship after winning the SEC championship, but being the 2 seed. Meanwhile, we got to see Oregon, who had the honor of facing an Ohio State team that feels like the best team in the country right now. While Notre Dame was able to absolutely get what they needed against Indiana at home and then play outstanding football, clean football, fantastic football against the Georgia football team that could not get out of its own way. Off the rip, 7 minutes left to go. You're on your own 19. It's 4th and 2. You go on with the punt, and then you have the friggin' hockey line change that leads to, we're going to snap the ball. We got to get lined up. Georgia's running on the field. They're trying to make sure that they got everybody where they need to have them. And my goodness, everything about this execution was so just, if you're a football fan, you love that. You love every bit of that because you not only got out there, not every single Notre Dame player was lined up. They were all steady. They were all understanding what was going to happen. And then you get to clap, and the half-second delay, oh my God, it was gorgeous. You're pulling Georgia off sides. You pick up the cheap first down when you probably just wanted to see Kirby Smart use a timeout. It's the kind of play that Kirby Smart would make, right? That's coach making a play. Leave it up to Marcus Freeman, who's got time to scheme. And my goodness, you've got a quarterback who doesn't throw for 150. You got a rushing attack that doesn't go for 150. And you're still able to defeat that Georgia football team because you played clean football, sound football. And on 4th down, when you got to have it, you went and got it. When they had to have it, you were able to stop them. Back against the wall, I kept seeing Notre Dame answer the bell, answer the bell, answer the bell. And I'm reminded Jaden Harrison, who really stretched this thing to 2 possessions with his kickoff return for touchdown to open the second half, is among my top 100 superstars that I wrote about for Fox back in September because he could do stuff like this. I was saying this, man. They got an All-American kick returner back there. He has the opportunity to change the motion of the game, to change the complexion of the game. And that is exactly what he did. He ran that thing all the way back, and you could see the pieces and how they were coming together. Al Golden, the only Broyles Award finalist in this game, out-coaching Mike Bobo. I understand that Gunnar Stockton is get his first start, but really, Gunnar Stockton played a hell of a football game. He had receivers that, once again, are some of the worst in the SEC. Yes, I said it. They're some of the worst in the SEC because they're dropping wide open passes. There's at least one that if Dylan Bell puts his hands around, you're to the house. It's over. It's done. You've scored. But they can't do that, and they're making these stupid mistakes that I know are driving Georgia fans up a wall. And then you've got your pre-snap penalties, and you've got a run game that is non-existent. Notre Dame said, you will not run the football on us. And it felt like Trevor Etienne was doing a lot of that to start the game, and then you put the ball on the floor. When Notre Dame had to have it, they came up with a way to go get it in a hostile environment. Like, I picked Georgia to win this game. And Notre Dame fans, get in here. Give me the licks that I deserve. I picked against you. I'm going to tell you, you showed me something that I think Penn State is going to be really worried about when you played it. But I picked against them, right? I picked against them mostly because I thought that Kirby Smart would find a way. Because he's always found a way. He's been so good at outsmarting the guy across the sideline from him and making a play. I've been huge on this season. I need a coach out there that's going to make a play. You got a play call or you know emotion, you're going to get a good timeout. They were able to do that. You needed that from Marcus Freeman. That's how you're going to beat this team. And with all that is going on in New Orleans, right? The tragedy that occurred the day before, moving the game, moving up the game, staying in the hotel, staying focused, getting into the game, and then having the opportunity to go and punch your ticket to the college football playoff. My gosh, I was I was amazed. I really was, because I'm telling you, if I'm looking at this game and I tell you it's 23-10, but Notre Dame didn't do much of anything on its offense, you would be like, hey, that's a game that Georgia's supposed to win. They got the guy that broke Deshaun Watson's records. They got the guy that broke Trevor Lawrence's record. They brought the guy that broke Jahmyr Gibbs' records coming out of Rabin County. They ought to be all right. Turns out, no. No, they were not. Turns out they are the latest team that has shown us that you can get beat down if you don't come to play against this team. Riley Leonard, absolute dog out there, man. Absolute dog. I mean, the man had, 24 passing hips. He threw for 90 yards because he didn't need to do much of anything. You know, they're able to run the ball for, they did run the ball for more than 150 yards. But that's all they could do, and they were able to keep the ball. They were able to hold on to it. Third down was atrocious for both of these teams. I'm looking at 2 of 11 for Georgia, 4 of 13. I mean, for Notre Dame. I think between these two teams, you probably had just about 600 yards of offense total. And for those that were looking at it, it was feeling like a low-scoring game. Georgia's not the kind of team they were a couple of years ago. They can't score on everybody. They got to stop people from scoring. And usually when you get into this part of the season where you're in the bracket playing for championships, it's the defense that shows itself, right? The fact that you got the Butkus Award winner in Jalen Walker, you got a first-round draft pick in Michael Williams, you got a first-round draft pick in Smile Munden, Dan Jackson's out there laying the wood, Malachi Stark's the Thorpe Award finalist, and you still aren't able to do much to push these guys off the spot. Tells me so much, man. I mean, shout out to Mac Denbrock, because I think that he has done so much with so little. Like, I don't mean that to sound like shade, but like, Jordan Faison is your best player. That's a two-way player, plays lacrosse, right? Jaden Greathouse was once playing at Austin Westlake with Cade Klubnik, but Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, those are the guys. Those are the dudes. Mitchell Evans is just kind of a hood ornament out there. I mean, he made a couple of plays. But outside of that, it's the offensive line. My God. They were so good. They were so good. Pushing people off the ball. Making lanes for the run for Riley Leonard to make a play through. And then when you got this young receiving core, only Bo Collins felt like the only dude out there knew what he was doing all the time. Their eyes can get real big, and they did. You got guys that aren't getting set, right? You got guys that are picking up holding calls. And then you've got referees that I don't know if they know where they're coming and going. You could tell me that you felt cheated as a Georgia fan and as a Notre Dame fan by the referees, and I would believe you. Some of these calls were wild. And I'm looking at some of this and like, hey, didn't we have enough of this in the Arizona State game when we had a targeting call that wasn't a targeting call? If that ain't targeting, then we ain't got targeting in the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, even Gene Steratore had to go up online and be like, hey, I'm getting blown up. Let me just send this tweet. Yes, it was targeting. I wanted to see that out of the game, but referees becoming a part of the game is also a big deal. And then Sean McDonough just going in on everybody. Like Sean McDonough just out there with Super Soaker, hosing everybody down for everything all the time. Hosing down the advertisers for going to Jen Latta in the advertisement. Hosing down the referees for taking their time. Calling out dudes by name in the replay booth. Dog. Ryan Day, Ohio State fans called strays from Sean McDonough today, talking about, hey, y'all still want him fired? I was dying. I was absolutely dying. But at the end of all of this, Notre Dame is back in a position that we've seen them be in before. They made it to a college football playoff semifinal before. They've been here. And going against Penn State, there's something to be said about that. Penn State, they ain't never been here before. And I think if you are Penn State, the one thing that's got to worry you right now, as I make this into a Penn State segment just to end, Notre Dame stopped Georgia from running the football. If they can stop you from running the football, I don't think you can win. I simply don't think you can win. So we'll do that when we take the early look at Penn State and Notre Dame. But my goodness, what a win for the Fighting Irish to come away with this one. And what a win for Marcus Freeman, who has been going through it and has come out. The team that lost to Directional Illinois made the college football playoff. Semifinal. Golly.